The bright lights of the research facility flickered as Kim Jin-ah peered through her microscope. Rain pattered against the windows of the Seoul International Science Complex. Jin-ah had spent 3 years leading Earth's xenobiology preparation team, but nothing had prepared her for actual alien contact. "Dr. Kim, they're arriving." Park Tae-won burst into the lab, excitement clear on his face. "The Alvari delegation requested to see our team specifically." Jin-ah nodded, removing her glasses. "Everyone in position. Remember the protocols." 6 months ago, the massive Alvari ship had appeared in Earth's orbit, bringing news that humans weren't alone. Earth celebrated, politicians made speeches, and scientists like Jin-ah worked day and night to prepare. The doors slid open. 3 tall, blue-skinned beings entered, their eyes unnervingly large. The lead Alvari, Ambassador Morth, extended 4-fingered hands in greeting. "Earth scientists, we bring knowledge and friendship," Morth said through a translator device. "We have studied your biology from afar. Fascinating potential." Jin-ah stepped forward. "Ambassador, welcome. We've prepared demonstrations of our research capabilities." For 2 hours, Jin-ah's team showed their work. The Alvari examined human research tools with what seemed like casual interest. When Tae-won presented biological samples, Ambassador Morth leaned unusually close to the sealed containers. "May we see your containment systems?" the ambassador asked. "For safety protocols." Something in the Alvari's tone made Jin-ah uneasy. "Of course, but some areas require special clearance." Later, as Jin-ah reviewed security footage in her office, she noticed Ambassador Morth touching control panels when no one was watching. She dialed Tae-won immediately. "Check the containment seals in Section C," she instructed. "Something doesn't feel right." "You worry too much," Tae-won laughed. "They're just curious. I'll check anyway." Jin-ah couldn't shake her concern. She headed to the basement labs where the Alvari had spent the most time. Approaching Section C, she heard alarms. Breaking into a run, Jin-ah reached the sealed doors as warning lights flashed red. "Containment breach. Evacuate immediately." The automated system blared. Tae-won. Jin-ah slammed her hand against the emergency communication panel. "Tae-won, report." Static answered. Through the reinforced window, she saw movement. Tae-won and 3 other researchers lay on the floor while a strange vapor filled the room. The containment system designed to protect against unknown biological threats had somehow reversed, pumping dangerous compounds into the lab instead of containing them. Security guards pulled Jin-ah away as the emergency systems activated. For hours, she waited as hazmat teams worked. When they finally emerged, the team leader shook his head. "I'm sorry, Dr. Kim. No survivors." The next morning, Earth authorities arranged an emergency meeting with the Alvari delegation. Jin-ah attended, eyes red but focused. "4 scientists dead due to equipment failure after your visit," the Korean science minister stated. "We need answers." Ambassador Morth's expression remained unchanged. "A regrettable accident. Perhaps human technology is not as advanced as you believed." "Our systems were working perfectly before your inspection," Jin-ah said, voice tight. The Alvari ambassador turned cold eyes toward her. "Under Galactic Confederation law, diplomatic missions have immunity from local accusations. We sympathize with your loss, but suggest focusing on improving your safety measures." Government officials nodded nervously. No one wanted to risk the technological gifts the Alvari had promised. That night, alone in her office, Jin-ah reviewed security footage again. Frame by frame, she spotted the moment. Ambassador Morth pressing a small device against the control panel when no one was looking. The system logs showed commands changing seconds later. When she brought this evidence to her superiors, doors closed. "The government wants this alliance," her director explained. "The Alvari have promised medical technology beyond our dreams. We can't risk that over an accident." "It wasn't an accident," Jin-ah insisted, showing the footage. The next day, Jin-ah found herself reassigned. her security clearance revoked, the footage mysteriously corrupted. 2 weeks later, news broke that the Alvari had begun mining operations in remote locations worldwide. Jinnah's phone rang, a former colleague speaking quickly and quietly. They're extracting something from deep underground. Something they said wasn't on Earth. Jinnah, I think they came here knowing exactly what they wanted, and your team discovered something accidentally. That night, Jinnah packed a small bag. On her desk, she left her resignation letter. The Alvari had killed her friends and manipulated Earth's authorities to cover it up. If official channels wouldn't deliver justice, she would find another way. I promise you, Tawan, she whispered. They won't get away with this. Jinnah's apartment wasn't safe anymore. Twice this week, she had spotted the same unmarked car parked outside. Once, returning from grocery shopping, she found her door unlocked, though she clearly remembered locking it. 3 months had passed since she'd walked away from her prestigious position. Now she lived in a small room above a noodle shop in Busan, far from Seoul's science complex. Her wall held newspaper clippings about the Alvari's generous mining operations around the world. The knock at her door came just after midnight. Jinnah grabbed the baseball bat she kept nearby and approached cautiously. Dr. Kim, I'm not here to hurt you. The voice was male, Korean, and oddly familiar. Jinnah peered through the peephole. A man in a leather jacket stood outside, his military haircut growing out. I'm Lee Dae-ho, National Intelligence Service. We met briefly during the Alvari first contact. Jinnah remembered him. Stern-faced, standing in the background during official meetings. Why should I trust you? She called through the door. Because I was fired last month for asking too many questions about the Alvari, he answered. And because someone just broke into your old apartment looking for your research. She opened the door carefully, bat still ready. Dae-ho stepped inside, placing a flash drive on her table. They're not mining for Earth minerals, he said. Look at these soil samples from their dig sites. Jinnah's makeshift lab consisted of equipment she bought secondhand or built herself. The analysis took hours. What she found made her hands shake. These trace elements, they're not natural to Earth, she whispered. And these microorganisms, they're not in any database. The Alvari are harvesting something they planted here long ago, Dae-ho explained. Something they seeded Earth with centuries ago. But why kill my team? Your containment system detected these foreign elements. Your team was scanning them when the accident happened. Jinnah thought of Taewan's excited face the day he died. He'd been trying to tell her something about an unusual reading. For the next 2 weeks, Jinnah and Dae-ho became unlikely partners. He taught her to move undetected. She taught him enough science to understand what they were tracking. They visited 3 Alvari mining sites, collecting samples at great risk. One night, they narrowly escaped capture at a site in Gangwon province. Racing through dark forests, they hid in an abandoned hunting cabin as Alvari security forces swept the area with strange glowing devices. Why are Earth security forces helping them? Jinnah whispered as they watched human guards coordinate with the aliens. Money, technology, promises. Dae-ho's voice was bitter. My former director is now living in a mansion he couldn't possibly afford on a government salary. When dawn came and the search moved elsewhere, they examined what they'd stolen. A small container of iridescent blue material. It's alive, Jinnah said, looking through her portable microscope. Some kind of biological compound that responds to electrical stimulation. Valuable enough to kill for. Valuable enough to cross star systems for, she corrected. Back in her apartment, Jinnah connected the dots. The Alvari weren't mining. They were harvesting a biological agent they had left on Earth during a previous visit. The compound could store massive amounts of energy. 1 handful could power a city for a year. They're violating at least 3 galactic treaties, Dae-ho said, showing her documents he'd obtained from the Alvari ship's data system. Seeding pre-space civilizations with biological agents is forbidden. So is harvesting them without proper compensation. How do you know about galactic treaties? Jinnah asked suspiciously. My job was to learn everything about them, Daho admitted. And I found references to something called the Galactic Tribunal, a sort of interstellar court. Jinnah looked at her wall of evidence. No one on Earth will help us. Our own people have been bought. Then we go beyond Earth, Daho said simply. It sounded impossible, but what choice did they have? The Alvari would strip Earth of this resource and leave, probably causing ecological damage that would last centuries. And Taiwan's death would go unpunished. Their planning was interrupted by the sound of breaking glass. Smoke poured through the window as Daho tackled Jinnah to the floor. Alvari stun gas, he shouted. We've been found. They escaped through the back stairs as booted feet thundered up the main staircase. Jinnah clutched her bag containing their evidence, while Daho fired his stolen Alvari weapon at their pursuers. I know someone who can get us off-planet, Daho yelled as they ran through back alleys. A smuggler who runs supply ships to the Alvari vessel. Jinnah nodded grimly. Earth couldn't help them anymore. Their only hope for justice now lay among the stars. For Taiwan, she whispered, and for Earth. The supply ship Lucky Star smelled of engine oil and something Jinnah couldn't identify, probably alien cargo. She and Daho hid among crates labeled Earth foodstuffs, breathing through cloth masks to filter the recycled air. How long? Jinnah whispered. Daho checked his watch. 12 hours to reach the Alvari mothership. Then we find a transport to Outpost Krell. The smuggler, a gruff woman named Yun Min, had demanded all their remaining money, getting humans off-planet illegally. Triple my usual rate, she had insisted. And if you're caught, you never met me. The ship rumbled as it left Earth's atmosphere. Jinnah had never been to space before. The sensation of weightlessness made her stomach turn, but she focused on the tablet in her hands, stolen Alvari data about galactic law. The tribunal accepts petitions from any sentient species, she read, but cases require evidence of intentional violation of Confederation treaties. Which we have. Daho nodded toward their secure case of samples and data drives. If we survive the journey, Jinnah added. The Lucky Star docked with the massive Alvari mothership hanging above Earth. Hidden inside empty food containers, they held their breath as customs officers passed. Min had bribed someone. Apparently, the inspection was brief. Following Min's instructions, they slipped into the crowded cargo bay, where ships from dozens of worlds loaded and unloaded goods. Aliens of various shapes moved about, none paying attention to two humans trying to look like they belonged. There, Daho pointed to a squat purple vessel. That's our ride to Krell. The alien captain, a being with orange scales and 6 eyes, looked them over suspiciously. Humans rarely travel, it said in broken English. Why Krell? Tourism. Daho lied, passing over the payment chip Min had provided. We want to see the galaxy. The captain seemed doubtful but took the payment. Quarters small. Stay quiet. Their quarters was a storage closet barely large enough for both of them. For 3 days, they took turns sleeping while studying galactic law on their tablet. Jinnah learned about precedents, procedures, and penalties. Most importantly, she identified the specific treaties the Alvari had violated. Regulation 347B, she told Daho excitedly. No Confederation species may harvest biological materials from pre-space worlds without formal trade agreements. The penalty is full restitution plus damages. Their ship shuddered, throwing them against the wall. What was that? Jinnah whispered. Daho cracked open their door. Crew members rushed past, shouting in alien languages. He caught one by the arm. What's happening? He demanded. Alvari patrol. They search all ships leaving this sector. Jinnah's blood went cold. They're looking for us. They grabbed their evidence case and ran toward the escape pods the captain had pointed out during their minimal safety briefing. Alarms blared as armed Alvari troops boarded the ship. In here. Daeho pulled Jinnah into a narrow maintenance shaft as boots thundered past. For hours they hid, hearing occasional shouts and the sounds of compartments being searched. Finally, the ship jerked as it accelerated again. "They're gone," Daeho whispered. "But they know we're headed to Krell." The orange-scaled captain found them later, eyes blinking in what might have been anger or amusement. "Not tourists," it said flatly. "Alvari offer reward for humans matching your description." "Very dangerous." Jinnah stepped forward. "We have evidence of Alvari crimes against our world. We seek the tribunal for justice." The captain stared at them for a long moment, then made a gurgling sound that might have been a laugh. "Justice seekers, more interesting than tourists. I help, for price." The price was everything they had left. But the captain changed course to avoid Alvari checkpoints and gave them better quarters for the remainder of the journey. 5 days later, they entered the Krell system. The outpost looked like a massive metal flower, petals unfolded around a central hub. Ships of all sizes docked at its edges. "Many species trade here," the captain explained. "Find transport to Tribunal Station. Not easy for humans. You need credentials." As they prepared to disembark, the captain pressed something into Jinnah's hand, a small metal disc with strange markings. "Show this at Dortic's Cantina. Level 7. Ask for Broker Tull. Say Captain Zrek sends justice seekers." The outpost was overwhelming. Alien sights, sounds, and smells assaulted their senses. Species of all descriptions crowded the walkways. Some stared at the humans with curiosity, others with what might have been disgust. "We need to blend in," Daeho muttered, pulling Jinnah toward a shop selling cloaks and hoods. Dressed in concealing garments, they made their way to Level 7. Dortic's Cantina pulsed with strange music and bathed in purple light. Jinnah clutched the disc tightly as they entered, feeling the weight of unfamiliar gravity and the growing weight of their mission. Somewhere in this alien chaos was their path to the tribunal, and to justice for Earth. "Ready?" Daeho asked. Jinnah nodded, thinking of Tadiwan's face. More than ever. The tribunal station orbited a star with no planets, neutral territory in galactic politics. From the approaching shuttle, it looked like a massive silver wheel spinning slowly in space. Jinnah pressed her face to the viewport, momentarily forgetting their danger in the wonder of it all. "Tribunal Station welcomes the representatives of species 4291. Designation: Human," announced the automated system as their shuttle docked. "Please proceed to registration." Broker Tull had kept his word. In exchange for samples of the Alvari's harvested material, he had arranged passage to the tribunal, and more importantly, filed their case request. Without his help, they would never have navigated the complex petition process. "Remember," Daeho whispered as they walked through the gleaming arrival hall, "we represent all of humanity here. The first humans most of these species will ever meet." Jinnah nodded, clutching their evidence case. After 2 weeks of travel, avoiding Alvari patrols, and learning basic galactic common from translation devices, they had finally arrived. The registration officer, a being with translucent skin through which Jinnah could see multiple hearts beating, examined their documents. "Case filing. Earth versus Alvari Confederation. Hearing scheduled. Immediate priority due to ongoing violation claims. Proceed to Chamber 12, Level Beta." The station's gravity felt slightly lighter than Earth's. Jinnah and Daeho followed holographic directional arrows through corridors filled with beings of all descriptions. Some appeared almost human, others defied comprehension. Chamber 12 was a circular room with tiered seating. At its center stood a raised platform where the judge would sit. On one side waited 3 Alvari representatives, their blue skin contrasting with formal silver robes. They looked at the humans with obvious surprise. "The Earth specimens themselves," one Alvari said loudly. "We expected legal representatives, not research subjects." Jinnah stepped forward, chin raised. "Earth speaks for itself." A deep tone resonated through the chamber. All beings rose as a massive entity floated in. High Adjudicator Koltar, their appointed judge. Its body resembled a jellyfish made of golden light, tentacles of energy pulsing below a central mass where multiple eyes blinked. Tribunal now in session, announced an automated voice. High Adjudicator Koltar presiding. The Alvari legal team spoke first, their lead representative gesturing elegantly. Honorable Adjudicator, this case should be dismissed immediately. Earth is a pre-space civilization, not a signatory to Confederation treaties. These specimens lack standing to bring claims. Jinnah felt her heart sink. Their long journey could end here, before they even presented evidence. Koltar's tentacles rippled. The standing question is valid. Human representatives, your response. Jinnah stepped to the speaker's position, her voice shaking slightly. Honorable Adjudicator, Article 17 of the Confederation Charter states that any sentient species may petition for relief when a Confederation member violates protected world status. Earth is classified as protected under Designation 3B. She had memorized the relevant sections during their journey. Now she recalled them perfectly, even as her heart raced. Koltar's eyes blinked in sequence. Citation recognized. Petition standing granted. Proceed with evidence presentation. For the next hour, Jinnah presented their findings. Soil samples showing alien biological material, data proving the Alvari had planted these organisms centuries ago, records of their current harvesting operations. Daho handled the technical displays, projecting images and charts into the chamber's holographic system. The Alvari intentionally seeded Earth with energy-storing organisms without our knowledge or consent, Jinnah explained. Now they extract these resources without compensation, violating Statute 427. The Alvari representative interrupted repeatedly. These humans cannot verify the age of these deposits. They lack the technology to understand what they've found. Their evidence is contaminated by primitive handling. Koltar silenced them with a pulse of energy. The evidence will be examined by neutral experts. Court adjourns until analysis is complete. Outside the chamber, Jinnah's legs finally gave out. She sank onto a bench, exhausted. Do you think they believed us? She asked Daho. Some did. I saw representatives from other species taking notes, he replied. But the Alvari have influence here. They'll fight dirty. That night in their assigned quarters, Jinnah received an urgent message on their translator device. A being identifying itself as a station security officer requested an immediate meeting. When they arrived at the meeting point, a quiet observation deck overlooking the stars, they found not security, but an Alvari representative. Clever humans, the Alvari said softly. But you are out of your depth. Drop this case, and the Confederation will grant Earth official recognition. Trade agreements. Advanced technology. Isn't that better than pursuing this vendetta? Jinnah thought of Taiwan's body on the laboratory floor, of Earth's governments, corrupted by Alvari promises. Justice isn't a vendetta, she replied. And Earth isn't for sale. The Alvari's eyes narrowed. Then tomorrow will be educational for your primitive species. As the alien walked away, Daho gripped Jinnah's shoulder. They're scared. We must be doing something right. Jinnah nodded, watching the stars beyond the viewport. Tomorrow would determine not just their fate, but Earth's place in the galactic community. The tribunal chamber hummed with energy on the final day of proceedings. Word had spread throughout the station. 2 humans challenging the powerful Alvari Confederation. Now representatives from dozens of species filled the observer seats, curious about this unprecedented case. Jinnah slept poorly. All night she had reviewed their evidence, looking for weaknesses the Alvari might exploit. Their entire case rested on proving deliberate wrongdoing, not just treaty violations. Ready? Daho asked as they entered the chamber. Jinnah nodded, though her stomach twisted with anxiety. For Earth. High Adjudicator Koltar floated into the chamber, its luminous body pulsing slightly brighter than before. The Alvari representatives appeared confident, their blue skin gleaming under the chamber lights. "The tribunal has analyzed the presented evidence," Coulthard announced. "The biological samples confirm non-terrestrial origin. The resource extraction patterns match deliberate harvesting procedures." Jinnah released a breath she hadn't realized she was holding. However, Coulthard continued, "Intention remains unproven. The charge requires evidence that the Alvari knowingly violated Earth's protected status." The lead Alvari representative rose. "Exactly, Honorable Adjudicator. Any seeding of biological material occurred long before Earth received protected designation, and our current operations follow standard resource collection protocols." Jinnah felt her hope fading. They needed proof of intent, something they didn't have. Then Daho touched her arm. "The encrypted files," he whispered, "from their ship's data core." Jinnah had almost forgotten. During their escape from Earth, Daho had downloaded encrypted communications from the Alvari ship's system. They hadn't been able to decode them during their journey. "Honorable Adjudicator," Jinnah said, rising quickly, "we request permission to present newly processed evidence." The Alvari representatives protested immediately, but Coulthard silenced them with a pulse of energy. "Proceed," the adjudicator instructed. Jinnah handed their final data drive to the court technician. "These are internal Alvari communications, encrypted to hide their contents from Earth authorities." The technician inserted the drive. After a moment, the chamber's holographic display filled with translated text. Jinnah read aloud from the projection. "Extraction Team Alpha. Confirmed Earth specimens remain unaware of biomaterial origin. Local authorities successfully influenced. Continue harvest operations with priority speed before potential space development enables them to detect our activities." The chamber fell silent. Then another message appeared. "Command to all teams. The incident at research facility successfully contained. Human scientists terminated before they could identify our seeding signature. Continue operations as planned." Jinnah's voice broke as she read the final line. "Maintain diplomatic coverture using protected status ignorance defense if discovered." The Alvari representatives burst into angry protests, their voices rising over each other. High Adjudicator Coulthard's body flashed with brilliant light, silencing the chamber. "These communications confirm deliberate violation of Statute 427 and Regulation 103 regarding protected world status," Coulthard declared. "Further, they prove direct responsibility for the deaths of Earth scientists, a violation of the Non-Interference Covenant." Jinnah held her breath as Coulthard's form expanded, tendrils of light stretching across the chamber ceiling. "The tribunal finds the Alvari Confederation guilty of all charges." The chamber erupted. Observer species murmured in dozens of languages, while the Alvari representatives huddled together, their confidence shattered. As remedy, Coulthard continued, "The Alvari will cease all operations on Earth immediately. They will pay restitution equal to 50 years' value of the harvested materials. Additionally, Earth is granted provisional Confederation membership with protected development status." Jinnah couldn't believe what she was hearing. Not only justice for Taiwan and the others, but a new status for all of humanity. Finally, Coulthard announced, "As this case reveals systemic corruption of Earth authorities by external influence, the tribunal appoints citizen Kim Jinnah as Earth's interim representative to the Confederation, pending proper democratic selection processes." Daho squeezed Jinnah's hand as representatives from various species approached to introduce themselves. The Alvari delegation departed in disgrace, escorted by security officers. Later, in a quiet observation lounge, Jinnah stared out at the stars, still processing everything that had happened. "What happens now?" Daho asked, joining her at the viewport. "I contact Earth governments," she said. "Explain what's happened. Help prepare humanity for its new place in the galaxy." "They might not welcome the news," he warned. Some powerful people were in Alvari pockets. Jinnah nodded. "It won't be easy. But Earth deserves the truth and a real choice about its future. As they watched ships coming and going from the station, Jinnah thought of Taiwan and her team. Their deaths had not been in vain. Because of them, because she had refused to stay silent, humanity now had a voice among the stars. Justice isn't just about punishment, she said softly. It's about making things right. Daeho smiled, Earth's first ambassador to the stars. Not bad for a scientist who just wanted to study alien biology. Jinnah laughed for what felt like the first time in months. Beyond the viewport, the endless possibilities of the galaxy stretched before them. And somewhere in that vastness was Earth, small, blue, and now, finally, protected.